place to another.
Bruh, that thing looks fucking beefy, dude. Look at that. Look, those tires are 100% bulletproof. Everything on this car just looks bulletproof. Look at the windows. Look how thick those windows are.
Safely. The presidential motorcade is perhaps the most impressive method of transportation. It includes up to 40 or 50 vehicles and over 100 people. Let's take a look at some footage of a motorcade. This is the lead car, or in this case, motorcycle. As the name suggests, its job is to lead the motorcade, but it's not actually the first vehicle. What we don't see here is the route car, which would have come through about 5 minutes before the lead car. The route car is always followed by about 20 or 30 motorcycles which play the essential role of clearing the route of cars. When driving on a highway, they'll speed ahead and close exits.
That's what they did, bro. When I was in Miami going to the Super Bowl, the president was there, and they had cops, like, basically pull everyone over, like, way up ahead, and, like, make everyone fucking get over and shit. And then they came.
So that no cars can come on the highway.
And then once they passed, everyone they just scattered. The cops, they just scattered.
They have to use a different technique in cities. When driving in DC,
Bruh.
where other drivers are used to frequent motorcades, the motorcycles often drive in a V pattern, pushing cars to the side to clear the way for the motorcade. This leads to a disruption of only about 2 or 3 minutes. Outside of DC, drivers are less used to motorcades, so the motorcycles will typically completely block off the intersecting streets to create one continuous clear path for the president. The entire first section of the motorcade isn't actually run by the Secret Service. It's run by the local police jurisdiction of wherever the president is. The fewer Secret Service cars and individuals needed for motorcades, the better, since both the cars and agents need to travel to wherever the president is visiting in advance, which is, of course, incredibly expensive. The next...
What is that? Why is it just... it's like they got black fucking Chevy fucking Suburbans. And then they just got a fucking Nissan fucking Forester or some shit. What kind of fucking car is that? I mean, I'm not hating on the car. It just doesn't fit. Doesn't fit the fucking, you know?
Secure package. It's the essential core to the motorcade because it's the group of cars that directly secures the president. In case of attack, this group of cars can detach from the rest of the motorcade and function as an independent unit. The most important car in the secure package is the president's limo, but one can never be sure which one that is because there are always 2 limos. These 2 limos...
Like, fuck it, dude. We'll just throw a 50-50. He's gonna be in one, you know? Fuck it. It's a Pathfinder.
Limos are identical. They even have the same license plate. That way, an attacker can't, for example, have a spotter tell them which car the president left their origin in. The limos themselves are no ordinary limos. They weigh between 15,000 and 20,000 pounds and are built on a modified truck bed. The entire car is bulletproof, including 5-inch thick bulletproof windows. The only window that can open is the driver's window, reportedly so they can pay tolls. The entire car is hermetically sealed to protect the president from a chemical attack, and on board are rocket-powered grenades, night vision optics, a tear gas cannon, pump-action shotguns, bottled oxygen, and 2 pints of the president's blood type. This car, leading the secure package, is the United States Secret Service Electronic Countermeasures Suburban. It leaves the secure package because its purpose is to jam any remote-activated explosives along the route. These 2 tall antennas do that by sending out a huge range of radio frequencies that would block any bomb activation signal. The 2 domes on top of the car are most likely what's known as electronic warfare sensors. They're essentially radars that can detect when a rocket-propelled grenade or anti-tank guided missile is launched. When it detects a launch, the car would most likely activate a number of smoke grenades spread out throughout the secure package, which would help throw off the grenade or missile. But of course this is all classified, so that's speculation. This car is the control car. It carries the most essential staff, like the president's military aide and doctor. In the event of an attack, they're both essential to the president, so they break off with the secure package. These last 2 cars are both filled with Secret Service agents. The closer one is called the halfback. It carries the president's personal Secret Service detail. These are the agents that are on the president's person at all times. The second one is the cat car, the counter-assault team. You can always identify these cars since they're the ones with a back window open. That's because the agents are sitting in rear-facing seats with automatic weapons, ready to respond to threats. While it's hard to see, you can just make out the counter-assault team in this car in black battle dress uniforms and the President's Secret Service detail in this car in coat and tie. In the event of an attack, the President's Secret Service detail is in charge of shielding and evacuating the President, while the counter-assault team would generally stay and repel the attack. These vans, following the secure
What if it's a
are
tall
full of
person
the
that's
press
an
bureau reporting on the President. This car is called the ID car, and the Secret Service agents inside are the ones that communicate with outside...
Yeah, what the fuck is the President paying tolls, bro? Can we hold up real quick? It's like, fuck it, dude. Sorry, President. We're gonna have to stop. Give him $1.50 real quick. Sorry for the inconvenience. Like, what? Okay. Wait. Why did that one go over my head? Bro. There's no way.
That proactively identify any threat to the motorcade. This black truck is the Hazardous Materials Mitigation Unit. It has equipment and personnel who can identify and respond to chemical, nuclear, or biological attacks on the motorcade. Continuing on, you can see more press vans. These motorcycles are speeding by the side because, now that the motorcade has passed the exit that they were blocking off, they are going to the front of the motorcade to block off more exits. This car is called the Roadrunner. It has a number of antennae on the top to act as a mobile...
I wonder if there's any comments. I wonder if there's any comments about the tolls. I just gotta check. There's gotta be. The favorite. Bro, why would it load? Fuck are the comments at, bro? Are we 5 minutes in? Let's see if it refreshes.
This is a Wendover Productions video made possible. Speeds up and
bro, my shit though, of course.
enters the motorcade from behind. It's important to note that this is just the standard motorcade configuration. It often changes based on the environment. When President Obama visited Iraq in 2009, for example, his motorcade looked like this. Military Humvees led a convoy of identical Suburbans, one of which carried the president. On top of the cars were more powerful versions of the anti-RPG antenna found on the normal electronic countermeasures Suburban. So, motorcades are incredibly efficient. It's been reported that motorcades have made the...
Honestly, for how ignorant these are, why black Suburbans? You know what I'm saying? Why? Like, it would be way more gangster if it was like Tesla trucks or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Or even Hummers are more badass, honestly. Why black Suburbans? You're the president. You could probably get any car, you know what I'm saying? Range Rovers at least, dude. Yeah, and why are they black? Why can't they be pink?
Trip between LaGuardia Airport and the Waldorf Astoria Hotel in Manhattan in 8 to 10 minutes. That's a...
Wait, what?
LaGuardia Airport and the antenna found on the normal electronic countermeasures Suburban. So, motorcades are incredibly efficient. It's been reported that motorcades have made the trip between LaGuardia Airport and the Waldorf Astoria Hotel in Manhattan in 8 to 10 minutes.
That's actually fucking crazy. Who the fuck is getting... Do you guys believe that? Eight to 10 minutes? I feel like that's bullshit. Doug, the only thing that's taking you 8 to 10 minutes is a helicopter.
It's a 10-mile drive that takes a normal driver 25 to 30 minutes. Although the safest motorcade is still no motorcade, since it's the most exposed the president ever is. So the Secret Service will typically only use motorcades for trips.
You think they're just blowing through fucking traffic like red lights? Fuck it. Why not a helicopter? That's what I'm saying. Pick me up on a drone ski. That would take an hour normally. I feel like that shit would take at least fucking 30. Like, dude, it depends on the day, but that shit could take you an hour though.
up to 30 minutes long. Motorcades are also incredibly logistically difficult and expensive, so whenever possible, the president will travel on Marine One. Marine One isn't actually the name of a specific helicopter. It's rather the call sign used by...
There we go. There's the helicopter, boys. Let's go. Helicopters are... Dude. Look at him, dude.
any helicopter with the president aboard. The Marine Corps operates 35 total helicopters of a few different types as Marine Ones, which might seem like overkill, but these helicopters are also often used to transport the Vice President when they're known as Marine 2 or government VIPs. While Marine 1 is occasionally used to transport the President from point to point, its most frequent mission is to bring the President from the White House to Andrews Air Force Base. The President's planes are based at Andrews Air Force Base, so this 12-mile trip is how the President starts and finishes any long-distance trip. Much like the President's limo, Marine 1 never flies alone. Right after takeoff, it's met by as many as 5 other identical helicopters which shuffle positions in flight to throw off potential attackers. Air Force One is also not a particular aircraft, but rather the call sign used whenever the President is aboard an Air Force aircraft. Typically, the role is served by one of 2 modified Boeing 747s. To give you a sense of how efficient this entire transport system is, let's time a trip from the White House to the UN headquarters in New York. The 12-mile flight to Andrews Air Force Base takes about 8 minutes on Marine One. Then, upon arrival, the President steps on board Air Force One. The President is always the last person to step on Air Force One, so the second he is there, the door closes and the aircraft taxis for takeoff. That means there's about 5 minutes between touchdown of Marine One and takeoff of Air Force One. From there, it's about a 30-minute flight to JFK Airport in New York, followed by a 7-minute trip on Marine One to downtown Manhattan Heliport, then a 6-minute motorcade up FDR Drive to the United Nations. That means that, if everything goes perfectly, including transfer times, it will take almost exactly 1 hour for the President to go from stepping out of the White House to stepping inside the United Nations. And what is the cost of this hour-long trip? Well, it's public information that Air Force One costs
An hour my ass. An hour my fucking ass.
estimated $206,337 per flight hour. So this half-hour flight costs $103,169. But of course we need to include Marine One. Marine One by itself
This man stopping getting food and shit.
is actually fairly inexpensive to operate. While we don't know its exact operating cost, one of the helicopters often used as Marine One is the Sikorsky UH-60 Blackhawk, which costs $2,199 per flight hour. But of course Marine One always...
Bro, I'm trying to buy... Yo, can we get some Prime subs? I'm trying to cop one of these. Sheesh.
But of course Marine One always flies in formation with up to 5 other helicopters. Per helicopter, a quarter hour
Yo,
of
games I
flight
think for
time
3 months in a
costs
row, I think for the $10, dude.
$530 or $3,180.
Did you ever try fasting? I am. I'm dirty
The motorcade's
bulking.
cost for the short trip is
I
fairly
eat
minuscule,
all day, every
so we'll leave
day.
it out for simplicity.
Stash
But the
I think for
helicopters
19
and
months in a
cars
row. Game
need
I
to
think
get to New York,
get the
and
tier
this
1.
is done by loading them up on a
H Miami,
C5
thank you for the
Galaxy
tier
cargo
1.
plane, which costs
Malco, thank you for the $5.
$100,941 per flight hour, or $50,471 for the half-hour-long trip to New York. Altogether, that's $156,820 for the hour-long trip to New York, or $2,614 per minute. And keep in mind that the President needs to travel back, too. Ultimately, transportation of the President costs the American taxpayer about $350 million per year, roughly 1/4 of the $1.4 billion yearly White House budget. This is certainly a steep price, but many would argue that it's a small price to pay to keep the most powerful person in the world safe. This video was brought to you by Squarespace. As you probably know, I'm a
Squirt my nuts.